Here, June. I've just been up in crime support. There's a whacking great bundle from the CPS.
So?
I just thought you'd be interested, that's all.
Are you deaf, Hollis?
Eh? Oh, no, sir. There's a Mr. Burford to see you. He's in the front interview room.
Mr. Burford.
Yeah, right.
Inspector Monroe, I understand you wanted to speak to me.
Well, I didn't ask for you specifically, no. Just someone in authority.
So, what's your problem?
Oh, it's not my problem. It's to do with this bloke who works for me. Did work for me. I've made that plain to him. Anyway, we had a party last night at the office. Just a few drinks and bits and pieces. And this guy, Townsend is his name. Jerry Townsend, about my age, divorced. He turns up with this girl he's apparently living with.
I'm not quite with you.
Well, when I say girl, I mean girl. It came out she's still at school. He's having it away with a 15-year-old.
Probably still in bed. Good morning, sir. Mr. Townsend.
Yeah?
Sorry to disturb you. Can you spare us a couple of minutes?
Well, what's up?
It's about Becky Curtis, Mr. Townsend. Can we come in?
This is my outraged boss stirring things up, isn't it? I wouldn't know about that. I told you about his butt on the side at the same time, did he?
Sorry?
No, I suppose not. Cheating on your wife's perfectly legal.
You are aware of the law, then, Mr. Townsend, with regard to the age of consent?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I have to advise you that you're not obliged to say anything further. But anything you do say may be used in evidence.
Becky's aware too. We discussed it before we became really close. We decided it didn't matter.
I'm not sure that's your decision to make, Mr. Townsend.
Is she here now?
Yeah, she's in the shower.
No, I'm not. What's the matter?
Hello, Becky.
What do they want?
Just a chat. My name is June Ackland. This is Barry Stringer. We're from Sunhill Police Station. We've been asked to come and talk to you about your relationship with Jerry, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I understand you're only 15.
So?
Now, take it easy, Beck.
Well, as far as the law is concerned, it's wrong for you and Jerry to have a relationship. You understand what I mean by a relationship?
Yeah, you mean sex?
So if that is the situation, then I'm afraid that Jerry is committing an offence and we have to investigate that.
Why, what for? We're not doing any harm. I'm here of my own free will.
I'm not saying otherwise, love. All I'm saying is that if you are under 16 and Jerry is sleeping with you, then he's breaking the law.
So what are you planning to do, arrest him?
What we'd like is for the two of you to come back to the station with us and maybe we can get this sorted out.
Things are sorted out. Why'd you lot have to come along? What do you think he is, some kind of pervert or something?
Oh, is he in?
Oh, yes, you just called.
Thank you.
Morning, sir.
Oh, morning, Kim. Oh, look, can he wait till this afternoon? Only I'm due at area.
Well, it's the case papers on the Ackland assault, the incident on Jasmine Allen Estate. ABH by Everton Warwick.
Yes?
Well, I thought you'd want to know. The CBS have thrown it out. Discontinued in the public interest.
Oh. Well, I think that's all for the best, don't you?
Well, I'm not sure that's how Ackland will see it, sir.
Well, to a degree, I think that depends how you break the news. So, look, I must dash. I'll see you later.
Right, sir.
No, no way. I don't want her here. It's nothing to do with her.
Well, your father then.
I haven't got a father.
Then it'll have to be your mother. We need her consent for a medical examination.
Do what?
We have to examine you.
Why? Jerry doesn't hit me. Go on, show me the bruises. We look after each other, we don't hit.
An internal examination.
No, no way.
Look, Becky, it's just a routine thing. We have to do it in all abuse cases.
I haven't been abused.
All right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. In all cases like this, we have to present evidence. That's the rules.
Yeah, I'm sure. To read out in court against Jerry.
We have to be medically certain of exactly what's happened, that's all.
I told you I'm not a virgin. I wasn't even a virgin when I met Jerry. Why do you need a doctor to poke me about and tell you the same thing? Why do I have to have that done to me?
I do understand how you feel, you know.
No, you don't. How could you?
Right, I've been on to child protection. They want her over there soonest. Sergeant Mills is dealing. Ackland can take her. Plain clothes, though, please. They prefer that.
And what about Townsend?
Well, they're happy for us to continue at this stage, so perhaps you'd interview him.
Me?
Well, it's not a CID thing, is it? Unless she turns out to be one of many. He's in custody, Bob. The pace clock is running. Let's get on with it.
Mother's latest address, no phone number.
Fine.
Only trouble is she might have a customer with her.
That's her problem.
June, did you wear a clean frock this morning?
Sorry?
You've got to take the girl up to CPT. It's a mufti job, which means your audience with Kim Reed's going to have to wait.
Reed, what does she want?
Well, she didn't say it.
How are things on the Jasmine Allen estate at the moment?
Thank you, sir. Fairly quiet at the moment. We braced ourselves after the Everton Warwick arrest, but we bailed him very quickly.
I don't detect a note of complacency, I hope, Charles?
No, not at all. Our intelligence is fairly good. I don't think there's anything serious brewing at the moment.
Well, obviously area and division don't use the same snouts.
I'm sorry.
There's a whisper, Charles, of something being orchestrated London-wide on certain estates, and one of those estates is Jasmine Allen. The community initiative on Jasmine Allen means a lot to us here at Area, Charles. Be a pity to see it all go up in flames, metaphorically or literally.
Well, as far as the Warwick incident is concerned and the assault on WPC Ackland, the case papers came back this morning, in fact.
Yes, so I understand. I was speaking to Prescott at the CPS. They're discontinuing, I believe.
Yes, they are. Not in the public interest.
You sound a little dubious.
Well, I haven't had a chance to read the CPS's comments yet, but I suspect that the officer concerned will want to talk about the matter further.
Why? Does she have a querulous nature?
No. No, she's a very sound officer.
Well, I'm sure both you and the CPS are more aware of the intricacies of this case than I am, Charles. But perhaps your very sound officer could be encouraged to take the wider view. We are here to preserve the social and physical fabric of the capital. We do that through team spirit, by shrugging our shoulders, not by developing chips on them.
Yes?
Mrs. Curtis, sir. Becky's mum.
Oh, thanks for coming, Mrs. Curtis.
Well, what's he done to her?
You mean Mr. Townsend?
Well, she's not shacked up with anyone else, is she?
You do know she's living with Mr. Townsend, then, in the full meaning of the term?
Of course I know. What am I supposed to do about it?
She's under 16, Mrs. Curtis. Legally, she's your responsibility.
She's also a big girl with a mind of her own.
Do you have any other children?
No, thank God.
And is there a Mr. Curtis?
Oh, somewhere.
According to Becky, she's been living with Mr. Townsend for about 6 months. Is that right?
She still goes to school, you know. She's not missing out on her education.
So, got any children of your own, Jerry?
Yeah, 2. A boy of 17, a girl a year younger than Becky. Don't see much of them since the divorce. She took them up north. Lancaster.
Part of the attraction, is it? Becky? A substitute?
Oh, no, I want to marry Becky, not a doctor.
But you did meet her after your divorce.
Yeah?
You want to tell me about it? How you met? Jerry?
I was in a pub, sitting on my own, you know, getting quietly and miserably stoned. I used to drink quite a bit then. And she was in there with a group of other youngsters, because obviously she looks 18 with the makeup on. And she spilt my drink, you know, backed into the table, just an accident. She is a bit clumsy. Only she was really apologetic. The rest all laughed, but she mopped it all up, insisted on buying me another drink and everything. And then all the others were going off to a party somewhere, only she didn't want to go. It was a bit of a barney, and they left her to it. She just asked me if I had a fag, because she smokes like a chimney, and we got chatting.
And how long ago was this?
Must be nearly a year now. She was still 14. It came as quite a shock when I found that out.
But it didn't make any difference.
Of course it made a bloody difference. I don't prowl the streets looking for young girls, you know. We'd met a few times before she told me. And when she did, I was all for packing it in. But well, she's a pretty forceful young lady. So in the end, I decided, what the hell? What's a birth certificate? It's only a bit of paper, isn't it?
We shan't detain you any longer than necessary, but as she's a minor, we do need your permission to conduct a medical examination and to interview her. It's customary for a parent to be present.
Where is she?
Just along the way. But the examination and interview will be conducted at Queen Anne's Hospital. That's where the child protection team are based.
Protection? What's she need protection for?
I must stress, Mrs. Curtis, it's not your daughter who's committed a crime. In the eyes of the law, she's an innocent victim.
It's me that needs protection. She went at me with a bread knife once, you know. And she never even got probation.
She's always had boyfriends. Well, she calls them boyfriends, but she's on the game more often than not. They used to give me the eye and all. And a bit more if they got the chance.
Men?
Bog off!
See what I mean?
Mrs. Curtis.
I suppose you've said they can do the medical.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not.
I'm soft. She's strong. She's a bit wild. I'm stodgy. But we both care. We're just two human beings who fit together.
Well, that's as maybe, Jerry, but what you've got to accept that in the eyes of the world, they might see you just as a dirty old man corrupting a young school kid. Now, whose idea was it to move in?
I honestly can't remember. Hers, I think. I don't know. We talked it over like we do everything else, and it was what we both wanted.
We're not going to find out she's expecting, are we?
We're saving babies till we're married.
June?
Sorry, Mum. I got your message. I was going to come and see you at end of shift.
Well, look, I'll be out by then. It's just to tell you the latest on your ABH case. Can you spare a minute?
Well, Inspector Monroe...
Look, just quickly then, so that you don't hear it on the grapevine. Look, your case papers have been returned by the CPS. They're discontinuing.
What? Why?
The public interest.
The public interest?
They feel the case is vulnerable and has wider implications. I haven't been able to speak to them about it yet. I thought it better to get your reaction first, but I will go back.
Well, do you think it would do any good? I mean, no disrespect.
Well, I'm not a CPS pressure. They're always ready to discuss and explain. I can't honestly say I've ever made them change their mind, but it depends what you feel about it.
I feel bloody unhappy, to be frank.
Can I suggest then that you go and see the big white chief about it? He's got more clout than I have.
Sure, the sooner the better.
Right, I'll arrange it.
Thanks. Aren't you going to talk to me, Becky? It's all right, you know. Your mum's not coming with us, it's just you and me. They're nice people there. Nobody's out to hurt or humiliate you. It's their job to help, that's all. They help a lot of kids.
Can you remember when you first had intercourse, Jerry? With Becky?
Do you really need chapter and verse?
Can you remember?
My birthday. We'd been out celebrating a couple of months after we met.
Since then, it's been pretty regular.
After we moved in together, yeah.
But she was always perfectly willing.
What do you mean, but?
Just for the record, that's all I'm asking. At no time was there any duress.
No! We care for each other. Can't you bloody accept that? Can't that thing accept it?
Interview terminated.
Recording your every word, it makes you feel like a criminal.
You've admitted to an offence, Jerry. Technically, that's what you are.
Sergeant Mills?
Hi.
June Ackland, Sun Hill. This is Becky Curtis.
Hello, Becky. Nice to meet you. My name's Sue. Come and have a chat. Be along in a sec.
Inspector Monroe's filled you in on the details, has he?
Yes, and we've got her papers from Youth and Community. She's known to social services as well, of course.
So what happens once she's been processed?
Processed?
Well, after the internal examination, the interview.
Well, that's up to the strategy meeting, isn't it?
Home to Mum?
That's one option.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Well, the girl's not on the at-risk register.
It still isn't an option.
OK, tell the child abuse advisor. But if there's no one else, it's a place of safety order, isn't it? Put in care. What else can we do?
Look, she has care with Townsend. She has genuine affection and security. We won't be stopping abuse by taking her away from him. We'll be causing it.
Excuse me. Sorry, are you with Becky Curtis?
Yes.
Dr. Andrews, I'm ready when you are.
Right.
Mr. Townsend, you have admitted unlawful sexual intercourse, which is an offence under Section 6 of the Sexual Offences Act. A decision now has to be made as to how this offence is to be dealt with. You'll either be cautioned or you'll be charged and bailed to appear before a court in due course.
The doctor was nice, wasn't she?
I feel like I've been raped. Jerry's never raped me. Do you know what the best thing in the world is? It's when we snuggle down in bed at night and I'm lying there in the warm, in the dark, listening. There's a pub at the end of the road and you hear them at chucking out time. Hear them going past, shouting and swearing, fighting sometimes, men and women. And I'm lying there with Jerry and I think, you poor bastards.
June! How'd it go?
She's in the system. How about him?
In a cell.
Just about sums it up.
Yeah, well, listen, you're still in demand. Only gone up a couple of ranks. Chief Super, 12:30.
Fine. I'm just about ready for him.
Handed her on?
Yes, sir, I've handed her on.
Not like Ackland to become emotionally involved. Recent events still reverberating, perhaps. Did he confess?
Yeah, he confessed.
Good. Someone from Child Protection's coming to interview him in about an hour.
Ah, June, come in. Take a seat. Would you, like a coffee?
No, thank you, sir.
I understand from DCI Reed that you're, disappointed with the Crown Prosecution Service. Their decision not to proceed against Everton Warwick.
I'm not disappointed, sir. Baffled. As far as I can understand, they haven't even suggested a downgrading from actual bodily harm to criminal assault. It's just to be discontinued, full stop. And I think that's wrong.
I sometimes think as police officers we're inclined to fall in the trap of seeing the law in rather simplistic terms.
Warwick punched me in the face. He kicked me in the stomach. Are the CPS calling me a liar?
No. But you know as well as I do it's not just a question of truth. The proof has to...
Well, they're not saying there's a lack of evidence.
Not a lack of evidence, no. But we have to look at the ramifications of that evidence, its quality. It's also further complicated by the identity of your two chief witnesses.
Stamp and Quinnan were there, sir, standing beside me. They saw what happened, how couldn't they?
Stamp and Quinnan have a complaint of racial harassment outstanding against them.
I honestly don't see that that should make any difference, sir.
Well, I'm afraid your view is not shared by the CPS.
And you're not prepared to challenge that?
June, I'm sure you're mature enough to appreciate the wider implications of this case.
Ah, yes. The public interest.
If this controversial prosecution goes ahead, if Everton Warwick were to be convicted on dubious evidence, the whole of this division will have to take the consequences. Now, look, you've been very blunt. So will I. The Jasmine Allen estate is a tinderbox at the moment. This is just the sort of spark that could set off serious public disorder. Now, you have to ask yourself, which is the more important, the possible loss of life and property or you pursuing your pound of flesh.
It's not a pound of flesh, sir. You're being totally unfair. I've done as much as anyone for community relations on that estate. But I don't see how denying someone the right to justice can possibly be for the greater good, not in the long term.
The right to justice? Come on, June, you're getting a bit high-flown, aren't you?
Oh, all right. Let's get right down to earth. Warwick's not facing trial for murder. All we're talking about is a measly ABH. So what if he gets done? What's he facing? Life? No. 2 months suspended at the most. How can that possibly be an excuse for mayhem? It's blackmail. On you and on me, and it's dishonest to pretend otherwise. I mean, whose public interest are we talking about anyway, I wonder? The ones who might get in the way of the petrol bombs? Or senior officers at area? who do sod all for community relations except write papers about it.
If you're trying to suggest that the CPS decision was somehow politically motivated, I advise you to forget about it. The CPS is not open to influence.
But I am.
I can't help admitting that I'm disappointed by your attitude, but I suppose it's only to be expected you're going to have negative feelings about the job at the moment. I mean, with all you've been through, Gordon Ray and the way it was handled, or rather mishandled.
Actually, sir, I do have negative feelings about the job at the moment. And they have nothing to do with my sex life. They have to do with questions like, what the hell are we doing? And why the hell are we doing it? And it seems to me that all we're doing is screwing up other people's lives. And if we're not doing that, we're letting other people screw ours up by assaulting us. It seems to me, as a humble foot soldier, that 19,000 assaults a year on plods and plonks is a good few thousand too many. And as far as I'm concerned, if the CPS won't prosecute, then I will. I shall take out a private summons against Mr. Warwick. And if Area don't like it, they can write a paper on it. And you know what they can do with their paper?
Any joy?
Yeah, barrels of it.
Well, your view will be noted, Bob, but I can't say I'm inclined to agree.
Well, what's the point of screwing the man to the floor? Who's it going to help? The girl? We should be 16 in a couple of months.
So what would you prefer? Pretend it hasn't happened, or sit tight for 2 months till it's legal?
Hello, sir. Just to let you know what's in offing in the Warwick case. Ackland's talking about a private summons. Yes, well, I'm afraid you rather overestimated my powers of persuasion. I have informed the CPS.
On your own?
Very much so, yeah.
Do you want another?
Lovely.
What did Brownlow want?
Just a chat.
Pint of bitter, please, love. Well, we're waiting to get an opinion now from the CPS.
What?
Child protection, on whether we should prosecute Townsend or not. They don't know what to do with him either. So he's bailed pending. Munro's not best pleased. Cheers.
Yeah, well, letter of the law equals public interest in Mr. Munro's book, doesn't it? Very simple. Sometimes the CPS see it differently, though. Either way, someone usually ends up getting hurt. Still, Becky Curtis has got nothing to complain about. We've got her a social worker and a bed in a children's home. What more could she want? I'll see you.